Did you know that most ancient statues around the world might not have been sculpted at all? What if I told you they were once real people who turned to stone? Around the world, countless ancient statues stand in silence. They are mysterious, lifeless, yet strangely human-like. But what if these weren't the creations of sculptors? What if they were living, breathing humans frozen for all eternity? Scientists are now debating a phenomenon some call petrification, a process where living tissue, in theory, can turn into stone. And while mainstream history ignores this idea, new whispers suggest it might still be happening today. In this video, we'll dive into the science behind this terrifying concept, explore theories that the world's top minds are just beginning to grasp, and ask a question no one dares to answer. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn could change how you look at history and humanity forever. Petrification, the transformation of a living being into solid, hard stone. It's a topic as old as time itself, with roots in countless legends, myths, and even modern literature. As the geologist Amos Brown notes, fossils scattered throughout the world stand as undeniable proof. Beings that were once alive can, indeed, turn to stone. It's a chilling reminder that life, under the right conditions, can harden into eternity. Take the story of the Gorgons, Stheno, Uriel, and the most infamous of all, Medusa. Three sisters, monstrous beings with hair of venomous snakes, and a stare so powerful that one look would instantly turn you to stone. Only Medusa was mortal, and when Perseus severed her head, he used it as a weapon, a deadly gaze that, even in death, would petrify his enemies. Legend, or a distant echo of something far more real? Imagine walking through a forest, not of living trees but of stone. Towering structures, frozen in time, their stony bark still bearing the textures of wood, their branches reaching towards a sky they will never again touch as living things. Look closely at these stones. Notice the undeniable resemblance to trees, the intricate patterns that once channeled life. These weren't simply shaped by chance. They were once living trees, transformed into stone through a specific, almost magical process, a knowledge I'm about to unveil. In Yorkshire, England, there's a place where the process of petrification is on full display. You can see it happening. But how can things like wood, or even a human body, turn to solid stone? To understand that, we need to dive deep into the science behind it. The idea of turning to stone has fascinated humanity for thousands of years. The earliest references come from the ancient Greeks. In Hesiod's Theogony, and later in Ovid's Metamorphoses, we meet Medusa and her sisters, Stheno and Euryale. Their gaze held unimaginable power. Anyone who dared to look directly into their eyes would be instantly petrified. But this theme wasn't unique to Greece. In the Old Testament, we find another striking moment of transformation. In the book of Genesis, chapter 19, verse 26, Lot's wife disobeys the divine command. She looks back at the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, only to be turned into a pillar of salt, frozen in time forever. Over the centuries, this idea of petrification moved from mythology and scripture into literature. Jewish traditions often reinterpreted these tales, trying to reframe them as symbolic rather than literal, gradually distancing them from real science. In Dante's Divine Comedy, we once again encounter the concept. Within the Inferno, sinners are trapped in symbolic punishments, some experiencing eternal stillness, a hardening into their sins, echoing the image of turning to stone. Fast forward to modern fantasy, and the theme continues to live on. In the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, the White Witch wields her wand to turn disobedient creatures into stone statues. In Harry Potter, the petrifying gaze of the basilisk and spells that freeze victims in place carry the motif into a new generation of storytelling. But it doesn't stop in the West. Persian literature also holds echoes of this myth. In 1001 Nights and in the Sufi tales of Attar and Rumi, we find stories where characters are transformed into stone, whether by neglect, by divine punishment, or by the agony of unfulfilled love. From mythology to scripture to literature and cinema, the fear of being frozen forever, stripped of motion and life, has never left us. It is one of humanity's oldest symbols of power, punishment, and mystery. From a scientific perspective, petrification isn't just a myth. It's a natural process. When any living being, or even an object, is exposed simultaneously to intense heat and sulfur, it can harden almost instantly, as if turning to stone. Volcanic eruptions are one example of this powerful transformation. But there are gentler, slower ways nature performs this magic too. When bodies or objects come into contact with supersaturated waters, rich in minerals, they can gradually become coated until they appear fossilized, stone-like. We see breathtaking examples of this all around the world. In Turkey, Pamukkale, where hot, calcium-rich waters have built dazzling white limestone terraces over centuries. In Iran, the Badabi Surt springs of Mazandaran, where salty waters, heavy with iron and calcium, have created striking, colorful natural steps. And in Iceland's Hveragerði, mineral-rich hot springs deposit silica so quickly that even clothes or fallen leaves can become stone-clad in a surprisingly short time. What seems like myth, turning to stone, is in fact a wonder of science and nature, shaping landscapes and inspiring legends.